shaky, folks.
Just trying.
So, it'll be a bumpy ride. Strap yourselves in. Try and dismiss what doesn't come through. And focus on the story. Because Reverend Thomas is here to share along with us. Thank you, Reverend Philip. Divine Creator, Father, Mother God, we come before you once again with open hearts and open minds, seeking thy divine wisdom and guidance in our lives. May that which comes through your speaker this day be for the highest and best good of each one to hear this message. Amen and amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today I thought we would talk about a very familiar subject, and I'll share some words by one of the I feel great teachers of our time. In 1994, Deepak Chopra wrote The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, and what I'll read today is excerpt from that. But as a preface to that, one of the things that, if you've ever heard me speak, you've likely heard me reference the polishing of the facets of a jewel. That understanding complex ideas, oftentimes an approach to it is the polishing of one facet of that. And it really, this morning when I was thinking about it and preparing for this, it occurred to me that in the beginning we have a two-dimensional understanding of things. And I began to see how religious conflict is a case of that, where you take a great truth and understand one facet, and that's like the whole picture. And so this is the truth and everyone else is wrong and therefore an enemy of the truth. And the history of mankind is full of that kind of passion and that kind of conflict. Different religious groups have not gotten along very well. They have been very much in opposition to each other. And anyway, reminded of that history, that the people that end up taking a more mystical approach are beginning to have a three-dimensional look or understanding of a complex idea. And I feel that we've been doing that, and that's what the polishing of a particular facet is. And I realized that this idea, when I approach new information about a familiar idea, that it's easier to let go of all of my preconceived notions and just take in the new idea and polish that one facet before seeing how it gives a greater three-dimensional understanding of a complex idea. Because if we don't do that, we're too busy comparing notes. We're too busy saying, well, that doesn't agree with what, I already believe about this idea. And it's harder to take it in. And in the times when I've been able to do that, I usually come away with a greater understanding as a result of it. So anyway, I just share that idea with you this morning as we take on the law of karma or cause and effect. Because one is an Eastern approach to the idea and the other is a more of a Western approach to the very same idea. Karma is both action and the consequence of that action. Everyone has heard the expression, what you sow is what you reap. If we want to create happiness in our lives, we must learn to sow the seeds of happiness. Therefore, the law of karma implies the action of conscious choice making. When we choose actions that bring happiness and success to others, the fruit of our karma is happiness and success. In every moment, we have access to an infinity of choices. That's a big one. Every moment, we have access to an infinity of choices. Doesn't usually feel that way. Some choices are made consciously, while others are made unconsciously. Unfortunately, a lot of our choices are made unconsciously, and therefore, we don't think they are choices, and yet they are. As a result of conditioning, our choices are often triggered by people and circumstances into predictable outcomes. If I were to insult you, you would most likely make the choice of being offended. If I were to pay you a compliment, you would most likely make the choice of being flattered. But think about it. You could make the choice of not being offended by an insult. You could make the choice of not letting a compliment flatter you either. The best way to use karmic law is to step back and witness the choices you are making in every moment. When you make any choice, ask yourself two things. What are the consequences of this choice? And will the choice I'm making bring happiness to me and to those around me? Important distinction. Will this bring happiness to me and to those around me? Ties in nicely with your introduction earlier about the Christ, about the self, about the whole. We are part of the whole. There is always one choice that will create maximum happiness both for you and for those around you. This choice is the spontaneous right action because it's the action that nourishes you and everyone else who is influenced by that action. How do you make spontaneous right choices? By paying attention to sensations of comfort or discomfort in your body. At the moment of making a choice, ask your body, what are the consequences of this choice? If your body sends a message of comfort, that's the right choice. If you feel uneasiness in your body, even as you ask the question, then it is not the appropriate choice. For some people, the message of comfort or discomfort is in the area of the solar plexus, but for most people, it's in the area of the heart. Put your attention on your heart and ask your heart what to do. Then pay attention to how you feel. The response may be the faintest level of feeling, but it's there. You will know the answer is right because it will feel right without any lingering doubts. The heart knows the correct answer because it taps into the field of pure potentiality in an infinite organizing power and takes everything into account. The heart is intuitive and holistic. It is a win-win orientation. And though the answer may not seem rational, the heart is far more accurate than anything within the realm of rational thought. You can use the law of karma to create money and the flow of all good things to you. But first, become aware of the choices that you are making in every moment. The more you become aware of your choices, the more you will make choices that are spontaneously correct, both for you and for those around you. How can you apply the law of karma to the choices you've already made? Most people pay their karmic debts unconsciously, of course. Sometimes there's a lot of suffering involved, but the law of karma says no debt in the universe ever goes unpaid. If you want to transform your karma to a more desirable experience, look for the seed of opportunity within every adversity and tie that seed of opportunity to your dharma, or purpose in life. This will enable you to convert the adversity into a benefit and transform the karma into a new expression. Begin by asking yourself, what message is the universe giving me? What can I learn from this experience? How can I make it useful to my fellow human beings? For example, if you break your leg while playing sports, perhaps the message is that you need to slow down and be more attentive to your body. And if your purpose in life is to teach others, then by asking, what can I learn from this experience and how can I make it useful to my fellow human beings? You may decide to share what you've learned by writing a book about playing sports safely. This transforms your karma into a positive experience. You can also transcend the seeds of karma by becoming independent of it. The way to do this is by experiencing the self, with capital S, your spirit, by going into silent meditation and coming out again. This is like washing a dirty piece of cloth in a stream of water. Each time you wash it, you take away a few stains and it gets a little cleaner. Every action is a karmic episode because action generates memory, memory generates desire, and desire generates action again. As you become conscious of these seeds of manifestation, you become a conscious choice maker. And the actions you generate will be evolutionary. As long as karma is evolutionary, that is both for you and for those around you, then the fruit of karma will be happiness and success. We've talked about this in previous discussions, that the thing that separates us from the animals is free will. They're on automatic pilot. They have instinct. Now, maybe there's some gray area, a little bit of crossover there with the levels of intelligence, but basically that's the demarcation line. We have free will. There's a lot of consequences that come from that free will. And we don't like to take responsibility for bad things in our life. But the power that's awaiting us is on the other side of accepting responsibility for the things that come into our life and what has happened to us. Because as long as we're taking on all of the rest of the world and trying to change that in order to make things different, it's an impossible task. It is our personal transformation that makes a difference. And what's more important than understanding the consequences, or that there will be consequences from the momentary, seemingly insignificant little choices that we make moment by moment, day by day. I mean, we maybe only think about this in terms of big choices that we make, but it's moment by moment. And the energy that we put into choices moment by moment is a powerful part of this personal analysis, I feel.